What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Four to Score Sports. This week, we're just going to talk about some sports news, some stuff going on. This week, again, we're joined by Trip Harris. He goes to Carolina. He's going to be in your top left for this week. Then we have Ryan Henry. He goes to High Point University. He's in our bottom left. Then we have Cameron Plants, who we refer to as Planner, who's playing hockey up in New Jersey right now. So pretty knowledgeable guys, big NHL guys here, big football guys, very, very bold takes coming from the guy in your bottom left this week. So, we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about we're going to recap our NFL week this past week. So, starting off, really, my Cowboys did not play the way we wanted them to play. New coach, we were really hoping, offense would get going early, defense would step up. Defense didn't really step up the way we wanted it to. Dak Prescott had a great game. The game really came to him. He did really good. Zeke Elliott was ranked the highest rated running back in the league this past week, according to Pro Football Focus. So I really don't have any problems with the offense. Michael Gallup got really screwed over at the end. He was screwing
Let's talk about that. He did not get screwed over. A full arm extension.
So in the full arm extension, Jalen Ramsey's head wasn't turned, and Jalen Ramsey had Gallup's arm tied to his chest, held in.
Ramsey completely sold it.
Yeah,
but when you look at it live, when the ref's making that call, I mean, I would probably make that call too. But when you watch the replay slowed down, he totally sold it.
You have to make that call.
You have to.
Why?
You're asking me?
A full arm extension pushing away, that's a call.
So
Absolutely,
even though Ramsey had Michael Gallup's arm tied to him, pulled to him, Ramsey was holding Michael Gallup.
If he was
Michael
pulled
Gallup
to him, why was his arm extended?
Rips his arm out. That's pass interference to you.
I'll pull up the video right now. I know for a fact he did not sit there like this and pull his arm back.
You look at the
Michael
picture,
Gallup got his
arm is
arm out and
reaches
pushed him away in a span of less than a second is what you're saying.
Absolutely screwed over. Absolutely.
I agree with Richie.
I saw some number the Cowboys had, I think 90-some receiving yards just on Ramsey alone when he was targeted. He had two incompletions that came his way. Obviously, one of those was on that big hit he had on Amari Cooper. Great hit. Thankfully, that wasn't ruled a fumble or anything. Cooper didn't really have possession, but obviously that was one of them. And then the other one would have been I can't remember what it was, but I know that everyone's going to say that it was the one that Michael Gallup obviously caught cleanly off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Ramsey gets paid just like an actor. We see how that turns out.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But anyways, this week we're going in. Dallas plays Atlanta. I'm going to have to go with Dallas this week again. I can honestly see Atlanta coming away with this one as well, but I'm thinking if Dallas attacks the secondary the way they need to with a big passing attack with good receivers, if they attack it the correct way, Ezekiel Elliott can get going like normal. I think that the Cowboys will outscore the Falcons. It'll be a great game. I think it'll be a shootout.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of defense is not going to be played. So I'm really seeing big shootout, but I'm going to stick with Dallas in this one. Who do you guys have?
I think Dallas wins this one by who's home? Is Dallas home?
Yeah, it's AT&T Stadium with fans.
With fans.
Actually?
Wow.
With fans. I think 50% capacity, which
50?
AT&T Stadium is huge.
Louise.
Jeez.
I'm probably gonna pick Cowboys. They're due for a win.
Yeah,
season.
I'm with you, Trip. I think it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a high scoring game, especially Matt Ryan coming off 450 yards. I think they're gonna air the ball out again, and it's gonna be a shootout.
I think
I got Cowboys.
I got the offensive star power of the Cowboys as well. I think that they come out hot week 2, and they get their victory. They get a big bounce back game from last week, especially if you say that they got cheated, I guess you could say, in the last 5 minutes of the game. I think that fuels them up, and they go out hard in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Then for Trip over here, we have Washington versus Arizona. Washington, big win last week. Trip predicted it. Not only did Trip predict that win, Trip predicted the Marlon Mack injury. Absolutely insane.
I got a quote to play. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Give me 1 second. Here you go.
I think the only way Washington wins is if Chase Young has 15, 16 sacks. Haskins is going to throw 4 interceptions.
Okay.
The game ended up what?
In my defense, the team had that many sacks. They had a lot of sacks. So what did they have? 9, 8?
Chase Young had 1.5.
The team, Trip.
What you said was Chase Young would have to have 15 to 16
That was
sacks.
obviously an exaggeration, Ziggy.
And then Dwayne Haskins would throw
Obviously.
4 interceptions. Dwayne Haskins didn't throw a single interception.
How many pass yards?
Chase Young with 1.5, he had like 197, something really low. But it doesn't matter. It was as much as we needed. But defensive line, unstoppable. You could have had Lane Johnson, anyone in there. They would have still gotten rattled, which is what's going to happen this week against the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is going to have to outrun Chase Young and Montez Sweat, the two arguably fastest defensive linemen in the league, top 10, both of them. Then you have interior rushers such as Ioannidis and Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen coming at you, which you guards are going to have to take care of that, so you can't really double team anywhere. Then you got Kerrigan coming in platoon. I mean, heck, he only played 22 snaps, but he got 2 sacks this past week. So 8 sacks for the Washington football team. Defense a little shaky in the first quarter. Overall, we had some cornerback step ups, such as Jimmy Moreland had a stellar game, if I must say so. Almost 2 picks, but he I wouldn't say he dropped. It was just a tip pass, and it was just deflected really quick right before him. So, wide receiver played defense on that one. Anyways, this week Washington plays the Arizona Cardinals. Is that game of the week? I'm pretty sure it is.
4:30?
4 or 5. I think it's
No.
game of the week because I saw.
4:30 is game of the week.
I feel like it's game of the week because I saw it on like a commercial when it was Saints Buccaneers. But I was checking the time too. So I was like, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I just know they play at 4 or 5. But I just think Washington's going undefeated this year. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give you a score.
Somebody clip it. Somebody clip that so we can play it for him.
The score for this game is gonna be kind of low because Washington needs it to be kind of low with the defense playing like they did the last 3 quarters. I'll go 24-17 Washington. Is my pick.
I mean, everything Tripp said. I still got Arizona winning by 21. Kyler Murray's winning the MVP this year. DeAndre Hopkins is too good. I mean, we saw what they
Man,
did
you are
last
good at these
week.
picks, are you?
No, I didn't do that good last week. I'm not going to lie.
What was your record?
With our games, I think I went 2-2.
2-2? No. You picked Panthers. You are 1-3.
Absolutely.
Oh.
No, you should
The
have.
person that was 4-0.
I am 1-3.
saying
You are
these picks.
correct. You are correct about that one.
No, Arizona
I don't know,
definitely
so I
takes
don't know
this
who you should
game.
pick.
Arizona absolutely takes this game. Kyler Murray, he's going to ball out. D-Hop's going to ball out. I mean, Eagles suck. Washington got lucky there. I mean,
You're insane.
Eagles just fell apart. I'm taking Arizona absolutely. I'll do 27-13.
I'm taking this week 2. I'm taking the Washington football team. I think that they stole a win last week. They played well. I think that they come back week 2. They come out with momentum and they play their game. They play hard. They play good defense. I think it's going to be a low scoring game as well, Trip. I think that if they let the Cardinals start scoring touchdowns anywhere in the first half, I think that they'll run away with it. But I think they'll play tight defense, and I think the final score it'll be a close one, but Washington football team will come out victorious 20-17.
Another point with Washington, their leadership is really starting to kick in. Dwayne Haskins with the halftime speech while Ron Rivera got the IV during halftime. That's a really step up for leadership for Dwayne Haskins, who last season was kind of quiet on that end, but now he's outspoken leader for sure on the offense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I agree
like
with you
that.
on
So
that.
that was a cool story because Ron Rivera had to get the IV because of is it part of his cancer treatment? Maybe did I read
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Ron Rivera,
that's a
football
great
guy.
story.
It was planned too, so.
Yeah.
Gotta trust Riverboat Ron.
So going there, we're gonna go Carolina, Tampa Bay. Henry, I'll let you talk about your past week, how you feel with everything. You're a diehard Panthers fan.
Oh, I sure am, brother. So looking back on week 1, playing the Raiders, mediocre team, not that great, but Coming from a Panthers perspective, a Panthers fan perspective, I think full rebuild mode. Don't have Luke Kuechly. Cam Newton got shipped out, unfortunately. So we got a bunch of new players up front, Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson. But I think they showed up, and, of course, Christian McCaffrey played well. It was a close game, 34-30, as we know, but it's our run defense that really holds us back. You let a second-year player, Josh Jacobs, 97, 94 yards, whatever it was, three touchdowns. Can't let that happen. You know what I mean? If you want to come out with games like that, you got to stop the run game. And I think that we played well. I think that we can, if we play like that every week, we'll win some games that people don't think we'll win. And I think that Carolina has a bright future if they I don't know, if they fucking oh fuck, sorry.
No, it's
Cut
good.
that out. Cut that out.
I'm not cutting it. This is completely unedited footage.
I think that they'll come out with games that people don't think they'll win for sure. Coming week 2 though, Tampa, Tom Brady bounce back game for sure.
A big hype up motivational thing. If Carolina does this, and this, they can do it. They can be good.
No, listen.
Yeah, but I got Tampa winning this week.
I'm not. Hey, I didn't say that.
Oh.
I think Tom Brady will have a good game, but I do think that Carolina will play a little bit better than they did last week, and I think that they win it this week. I think my boy DJ Moore has a little better of a game, and Christian McCaffrey runs for 4 TDs, 150 yards.
Jesus Christ.
4 touchdowns. That's
against the Buccaneers.
That's good. That's right. He's on your fantasy team, isn't he? You might want to start.
He is on my fantasy team.
You might want to start him. Good advice from Henry.
Wow.
Anyway.
I'll just say 37-10 Tampa Bay next. Brady has his bounce back game. He's listening to the haters right now. Everyone doubting him. He comes out. He balls. He does what he does.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay as well. I like Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Two Gloves. I like him, and I was hyping him up. I was praising him last week. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback before he got hurt. He did what he had to do with the Saints. But I've just got Tampa Bay, and as everyone's saying, bounce back game for Brady. Mike Evans, I think they only found him one time last week. Granted, it was a touchdown. I think this week they're gonna find him. They're gonna target him like crazy.
He still got that hamstring though.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I think he was just out there as a decoy. They found him in the end zone, but I don't know. We'll see how he does. I think he was practicing this week.
He's been practicing.
So yeah, I think he'll be back.
I was about to say I haven't heard anything about him not playing. But regardless, you have to cover Mike Evans and you have to cover Godwin. So that'll throw Gronk seems like he's always open. And if not, O.J. Howard will be out there, one of their 3-headed running backs. I just see Tampa Bay. I see their offense taking this game. Who you got, Tripp?
Offense. I see defense really taking the game for Tampa Bay. The Panthers' strong suit is Christian McCaffrey, and the Buccaneers' strong suit is their defensive line. They do not allow any rushing yards. Last season, McCaffrey did not have very good games against the Buccaneers.
On paper, those are his worst 2 games. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the Buccaneers were probably at least top 3 defense of the run this past year. But offense, Brady has to step it up. He had very Cam Newton-like throws this past week. The Cam Newton from last year, like throws.
Lord, here we
very
go.
off. They were very off. Not Cam Newton. Tom Brady wasn't underthrowing them. He was overthrowing them, and it was just weird seeing that. But I think
that right there, the overthrows, I feel like that's a thing. Just nobody's played football since December for the most part, unless they were in the playoffs.
Well, Brady's been working out with his teammates since he signed with them.
Yeah,
but that's not real.
It's always different when there's somebody actually trying to hit you and they're actually trying to break down the pocket.
Anyways, Buccaneers, their wide receivers were kind of locked up by the Saints' depth in the secondary, and the Panthers just don't have that. I think Buccaneers take this probably by about 10-ish. 10-ish, probably like 30-20, something like that, something odd.
30-20.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last but not least, we have Pittsburgh Steelers, Planners team. Tell us about that, Plants.
364 days before that game, Big Ben went down, and the
You've been
defense
waiting to
carried
say
us.
that, haven't you? You've been waiting to say that.
He's been practicing it all day.
Defense carried us last year, 8-8. I mean, when you got a dude named Duck and Mason Rudolph in there at quarterback, and Juju's out for a couple games, James Conner's out for a couple games, Pouncey was out. It was horrible for the Steelers last year, and we still came out 8-8. It was the defense was definitely going to be our strong suit this year, and we knew it was. And we proved it again against the Giants. Granted, it was the Giants, but I thought their offense they were clicking. They started out
Who's
the
offense?
Giants offense.
You
I
gonna
thought
say Saquon Barkley?
They were no.
Pick.
No. They're past. Daniel Jones
Okay.
looked sound. Let's say
Good.
he looked better than we expected from Daniel Jones at least. Obviously the Steelers defense won this game. But Ben, going back over the offense, Ben and the offense started out slow. The Steelers had Connor go down, and then we saw Benny Snell come in, 113 yards on 19 carries. Juju looked good. Juju looked back to how we expected him to play. And the defense.
I like that TikTok dance he did in the end zone.
Oh yeah.
Who's next? Yeah, I love
The
Juju.
defense looked good, and we had 2 interceptions. We got to the quarterback, T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree, he had a breakout year last year. There was a lot of question marks about him going into last year, and he proved everyone wrong and had a great year last year. And him paired with T.J. Watt, they get inside, they get to the quarterback. T.J. Watt with an interception. I believe it was a 90 plus in Pro Football Focus. It was just a great look from the Steelers. It was what I expected. Offense starts slow. Ben's coming back. Everyone's new piece is Eric Ebron. He didn't really shine, but he had a catch or two in there, and everyone's getting back to it. It's especially with Corona and everything. You haven't played real football in forever, especially you haven't played real football with Ben Roethlisberger in forever.
Yep.
So just getting back in the groove of things, and then we had that 2-minute drive before halftime, and that's when it was like, okay, Ben's back, and
looked great,
and we looked good, and we took control of the game after that. The defense gave us a ton of momentum on offense too, and it was a great game. What I expected, but it was a great game. Now moving into playing against Denver, I expect the same thing. I hope Ben can look to, a little deeper. It seemed like most of his passes were short to medium range. I'm hoping we can take a couple shots down the field. I got the Steelers. I got them. Their defense carrying this game once again, which the defense is a strong suit, especially against a younger offense. Drew Lock, Sutton, Fant, all these younger guys. I got the Steelers, let's say 27-17.
27-17. All right, I like that. I like that take, and good little recap of everything that's happened in the last 9 years for the Steelers. Thanks, Plank,
Yeah,
for
no
that.
kidding.
They had a really good drive for 2 minutes at the end of the first. Yeah, great, Plants. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I like this game is actually my lock of the week. I've got Pittsburgh over Denver. I was thinking maybe, short week might be a little tough, but at the same time, Denver has a short week as well. They should have won last week. All those missed kicks.
Jeez.
This is your lock of the week?
I have Pittsburgh beating Denver as my lock of the week.
Out of the 4 games, out of all games?
No, out of every game. Every single game this week. This is my lock.
Ryan.
It's kind of risky.
I like Pittsburgh.
I do like Pittsburgh as well.
So James Conner's going to get on it.
James Conner is active. I just got the notification.
I don't think James Conner comes out.
I think Benny Snell takes over as our starter a couple weeks throughout the year.
I think it's going to be a super
week,
boring game.
Benny Snell had 19 carries for 119 yards.
119, awesome. Yeah, I just got Pittsburgh. I don't see what everybody sees in Drew Lock and Von Miller going down.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Chubb's obviously amazing. Go Pack on that one. But I just think Pittsburgh's too good. And as most of the other games are, I think the offense takes it. Not really the defense for Pittsburgh, but I think the offense takes it.
I agree there. I think Juju has another big game. I think a couple more touchdowns on his mark in week 2. I think Ben Roethlisberger has another good game, and I think Pittsburgh's definitely going to take this one. I'd say 31-17. Pretty close to your prediction plans.
Yeah. It's going to be a super boring game. You guys, I would assume, watched the Titans Broncos game. That was a super boring game, as will this one be, because it's just two strong defenses going against each other. I think the only bright spot to watch be to see if Drew Lock could step it up a little bit more, but besides that, super boring game, very low scoring. I don't know what the over under for it is. Do you know, Plants?
I could probably look it up real quick.
I got it. 40 and Jesus Christ, 40 and a half. Jeez. Wow. I don't know. Super low scoring. I'm going to go 21-10 Steelers. Still going to hit the under.
21-10. Life's too short to hit the under.
Yes, sir.
Life is too short to hit the under. So what does MMG say? Life's too short to throw the checkdowns, and something else like that. Yeah. That's all of our picks for the week, guys. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move into. I'm seeing that a lot of NFL running backs, they're starting to get paid.
Yeah.
Just in the past week or two, Alvin Kamara's gotten paid. Who else? Dalvin Cook's gotten paid.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Christian McCaffrey got paid. Ezekiel Elliott got paid 2 years ago. How do you guys feel about that? How much? You guys feel like you should pay a running back as much as some of these guys? Like McCaffrey's making 16, Elliott, Kamara, they're making 15 a year. How do you guys feel about that?
Yes.
They deserve that much money?
They deserve it if it's their first deal after their rookie deal.
Okay.
So is it, how many years is it? 5 or something like that? 4?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, after your rookie deal runs out or whatever, you deserve a contract right then if you have good years. But if you are coming on the second half of that, let's say McCaffrey's what did he sign, a 5-year deal, something like that?
5 years.
So 2024, when Zeke Elliott, McCaffrey, they're all going for new deals.
Yeah, I would. You don't. I think
not.
they should get that one opportunity, and that's it. That's the only high-paying deal they should be able to get. After that, maybe a $4 or $5 million a year deal. But after it's just that first contract, yes, they should get paid.
So in that second contract, how long do you think they should lock him up? It depends on
2
the player.
years.
Or
3
2
years.
years.
2-year deals, team option maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Unless they're just extremely good, like an Adrian Peterson type coming through. But 2-ish years.
I will take the opposite here. I disagree. I will make the exception with a Christian McCaffrey, Zeke, Kamara, top 3, 4, 5 running backs. Maybe you can pay them. Anyone else, I don't see. Running backs are not as. I was actually talking to Robbie last night and Henry. We were talking about this. The offensive line is what makes a lot of running backs. And I would rather spend a lot of money getting a lot better offensive linemen than having a really good running back. If a running back is a pass catcher as well, with Christian McCaffrey and guys like that, I think that ups their value. Then that's what throw back to my Steelers, Le'Veon Bell. That's what he was calling for, because Le'Veon Bell was putting up the same numbers as some receivers in the league, and they were getting paid $20 million or whatever they're getting, and it's just I think if they have that receiving aspect, okay. I think there's just their versatility. I can see paying them for that, but I mean, it's very easy to replace. All right.
What about this? Ezekiel Elliott's not the best pass catching running back in the league, but he's the best pass blocking running back. I mean, yeah, Aaron Donald had his way. So you're saying pay the offensive line or invest in the offensive line. Obviously, Dallas has done that. Do you think Ezekiel Elliott deserves the $15 million he's gotten, even though he's not the best pass catcher, but he can pass block like crazy.
You have to bring a different aspect than just running the ball.
Okay.
I guess I'll rephrase it like that. I mean, you look at what's important in an offense. I think your offensive line is probably one of your top, and then it's probably your quarterback is very important. I would rank I'd probably put your offensive coordinator ahead of in importance over your running back.
The coordinator?
Yeah, the guy calling the plays.
No.
I would rather yes.
No.
I-
No. You
What?
get
You can have
a coordinator out there with me as the running back. No. Like,
that's okay.
He's not
Obviously,
gonna make me good. I'm gonna make
Avi
myself good.
obviously a running back. No, I know, but you need. I don't think the running back is one of the least important positions in the offense.
I wouldn't say that at all.
You take Ezekiel Elliott out of Dallas. What's that looking like the past few years?
They
If
can
you
have.
take
They got Tony
Christian
Pollard
McCaffrey
still.
out of Carolina the past couple of years. What are they?
Yeah. Okay. Carolina.
Well, I mean Carolina.
No. Okay.
I mean, come
Trip,
on
you
now.
look confused.
No,
Yeah, Trip.
No,
get
I
that
don't
look
think
on your
I don't think
face,
it's worth
man.
it.
I got an analogy, but it'll make no sense in this situation. But it's with the Columbus Blue Jackets hockey team. It's like what Plant's point is. Their goalie coach is basically more important than the goalies themselves. Like they had Bobrovsky, and he's one of the best goaltenders. Now he's gone, and now their goalie coaches has Merzlikins and Koklas. I don't even know how to say it.
Korpisalo, yeah.
Yeah, those two, they're extremely good. So like that's Planner's point. But at the same time, that makes no sense, Planner.
I mean, no, it's a little different in football, and maybe it's not exactly, but it is. You have to have the right guy who can. I don't know. I just think running backs are not important. You can replace them very easily. Obviously, if you have the elite diamond in the rough, Christian McCaffrey, Zeke, these top 5 running backs in the league. Yes.
Joe Mixon. He get paid?
I don't know. Just
Nick Chubb.
Not 16 million.
I would rather have an elite offensive line and a slightly below average running back than have a mediocre O-line.
You think
Because your O-line builds your whole team.
is going to do well with a great offensive line?
Having an offensive line gives you so many more options. It gives your quarterback more time. It gives your running back lanes. It opens up more time for your quarterback to find your receivers. The offensive line is what makes an offense.
Don't the Steelers have a really good offensive line?
They do.
They're up there.
It's
And
slowly falling
we
apart.
see how
but
that
it's-
went.
Yeah,
Still.
Snow ran for 119 yards.
Exactly. And we lost. We had De
but
Castro was out,
last-
and we
last
lost
year-
Banner.
Last year when you went 8-8, you had all those guys.
Dallas Cowboys last year.
Exactly. We went 8-8.
Had all the guys.
Still have all the guys. Still
Travis
lost
Frederick
people.
retired. Best center in the league retired for us. Can't forget that. And Lyle Collins is hurt too. Henry.
Huh?
I got another point about offensive line. The Redskins offensive linemen, the left side of the line, out of 73, the left side were I think 71 and 72. Out of 73. That tells you how bad the left side of our line is.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I agree. Having a good offensive line is obviously amazing. We see Dallas in 2014, how good they've been, how good the Steelers have been the past 10 years overall.
Mhm.
But I think an elite running back can, in a way, outweigh the offensive line in certain aspects like that. Like, you look at the Giants. Granted, they're probably a horrible example. Let's look at the Titans.
I think it also depends on the quarterback. Like, you look in Seattle, you have Russell Wilson. I mean, he doesn't necessarily need an elite running back, but he kind of has one in Chris Carson, and his line sucks.
I think Russell Wilson makes Chris Carson a lot better.
Exactly.
I think Wilson's
The
talent
quarterback.
elevates Chris Carson, and I think Chris Carson's talent level
What
itself
about
is not
the-
as
is it,
elite as everyone makes it seem.
Is it
and
the
I think-
IQ of the quarterback, or what kind of aspects
Yes.
of the quarterback are you talking about?
Like, Tom Brady made all his running backs, like James White, Sony Michel wasn't that good. Yeah, James White, Deion
Like
Lewis,
Garrett Blunt?
honestly, yeah, really good running backs for the Patriots in their system. It really just depends on that. I mean, I think the quarterback determines a lot of how the running back plays because you need a running back to play. I mean, not a quarterback to use a running back.
Okay. So are you ultimately saying obviously if you have an elite quarterback, pay him? And then,
Yeah.
So
And then what?
ultimately, I think what we're getting out of this is it depends on the system, Depends on the
Yes.
coaching.
Obviously.
Depends on the
There's a lot of
ability of the
depending,
running
I mean.
back. What'd you say?
It's just a lot of depending. It's just the certain circumstances. If you got the cap
All right,
space,
well-
yes. If you don't,
well,
then don't.
Let's
I
look
mean,
at
if
some
you look
top
at
guys.
look at San Francisco though, how they just run the ball. I mean, they don't need a crazy good quarterback in that system. They need someone who can get the ball, they can pass the ball when it's needed, and then they hand the ball off and rely on their defense.
Yeah. So real quick, let's look at some top guys. We'll look at the top, let's say 10 guys, and we'll see if they deserve it. McCaffrey making 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Kamara at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Even
little
though he
steep,
has
but
all those
yes.
weapons on offense.
It's a little
Who
steep,
is
but
all-
yes.
Maybe not number 2 highest paid.
No,
Yeah,
but
all right.
he does deserve to be on the list.
Zeke Elliott, 15 mil.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
Okay. Le'Veon Bell, 13.1.
Hell no.
It
At,
if
at
it
the
was
on the
time,
Jets,
team
yes.
that he's
Not
on the
on the
Jets, or it's
Jets.
just horrible.
At the time, yes.
If you
Okay,
put
but-
Le'Veon, if Le'Veon Bell signs that contract with the Steelers, I'm agreeing with you 1,000%. Because offensive line, because the system that's built for him.
Okay.
But now
That's a good
the
take.
Jets,
That's what I'll say.
mm-mm.
At the time, if he re-signs with the Steelers or goes to a team with a decent line or that needs him in the pass game more, I'm saying yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Then we have David Johnson, 13 million. No,
Mm-mm.
I don't even think at the
I
time
mean,
he
but
deserved
all
it.
these contracts
No.
are done at the time. I think he was worth
I
it
don't think
at
at the time he deserved it. He had he really only had one really good season in
He had
Arizona.
about 4 consistent good years in Arizona.
But he really broke out that one year. Then he got a deal.
And then he kept going. And he was good for the next few years.
I'm pretty sure he got that deal after his
13 million worth,
2015
though?
season.
I don't know when he
Yeah,
got
it's the
final
I don't know
deal.
what deal you're talking about, but he was consistently good for at least 4 years.
All right, well, we'll skip down a little bit. Joe Mixon, 12 million, 8th highest paid in the league.
Yes, the Bengals can afford it.
But they don't have the
Yeah,
line.
I'll give you
They
that.
have
I
good
would-
receivers.
I think most of these running backs should be on 2 to 3 year deals, except for the top guys. I think once you get past
Yeah.
the top 3 or 4, I think it should be 2 to 3 year deals. I don't
8
think
million.
anything long term. 8 mil, what do you say, Henry?
Yeah, 8 million max.
8 million
I
will
could
put
agree
you at
with
the
that.
10th highest paid in the league.
Yeah,
Melvin Gordon
yeah, but at
makes
the
8
same
mil
time,
exactly.
other teams can afford this. So, like, you have to counteract these other teams.
That's a good point. That's a good
I mean,
business
I don't think
standpoint.
I don't think Mixon will make the playoffs in this contract. So why are you spending your money there when you can
Right.
be retooling? Build around Joe
Or
Burrow.
like
potentially
that. I like
he can
that
make a
take.
huge
Look at the
splash in-
Panthers.
They're just trying to lock McCaffrey up so
in
they
a
can
way,
retool,
yeah,
rebuild.
correct.
I think
But
with
Christian
like a running
McCaffrey's
back like Joe
arguably the
Mixon,
best running back in the league. Like, you can't compare Joe Mixon to Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying?
He's making half as much as him, though.
I think since McCaffrey is very elite, best back in the league arguably, and then Joe Mixon, top 10, number 10, 9 maybe. I just think
Depends on how the offense does. Yeah.
Bengals should have been smarter, not pay him, maybe let him walk and make a huge splash in free agency, get a young guy that's looking for a new contract, pay him the big bucks. You know, then they'll have some money to make big splash, help them out down the road, make a good draft pick here and there, you know. I think that's what some of these teams should be doing outside of, like, obviously the top 5, 6 backs in the league, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one we're getting at.
All right. Well, Plants, I think you're frozen for us. Not really sure what's going on. You're kind of looking like the Undertaker. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about the NBA. When Plants gets here, he gets here. If not, this will be beautiful in the thumbnail for the YouTube video. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube, I do appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever it takes. I'm not going to be that guy that throws the animations out there with, like, click the notification.
This part is he's not even frozen.
Really?
I don't know.
Anyways, if he wasn't frozen. Anyways, make sure to check links in the description. Oh, and Plants is gone. I'm going to join back soon. Let's see what happens. NBA. Now, right now we have the Heat and the Celtics. Heat won game 1 last night, I believe, right?
Huge block by Bam.
Huge block by Bam. I
That was
know
huge,
ESPN
yeah.
SportsCenter, they were posting the block that LeBron had on Thiago Splitter in the finals. Welcome back, Plants. Happy to have you. So, I had the big block on Bam. Or Bam had the big block. That series, I know I predicted it wrong. I had the Raptors in the finals, had them winning that game 7, had the Raptors in the finals. He looked good. He looked solid to me.
They do look good.
Over there on the East. I wouldn't be surprised if, he get there and maybe, if Heat win in 5-6 games, I wouldn't be surprised. I think the Heat win this series, though, like no matter what it takes.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can.
I'm back.
Henry, who you got on the East?
On the East,
looking?
I think the Heat come out with it too. I think they come out within 7. I think it'll be a real back and forth series. I think the Boston Celtics look real good as well. But I think with Jimmy Butler and the system they got on the Heat, I think they win in 7.
7. Okay. Ziggy, how you feeling?
I think Celtics in 6. I just think if they can shoot the ball more consistently, then they take the game. I think the Heat ultimately have the better coach or coaching staff in general and better culture. But I think that the Celtics young talent overrides the Heat young talent. Only thing, Celtics, I was about to say, they don't really have leadership, but they have Kemba Walker. I mean, he doesn't have much chemistry. He's not. But still, he's a leader. He's one of the older guys in the system. But who do the Heat have? Goran Dragic.
Jimmy Butler.
Where'd Butler get last year?
Where's Kemba gotten in his career?
That's
I'm pretty sure Jimmy Butler's been to the conference finals before with the Bulls. Pretty sure they lost to the Cavs, maybe.
As probably like a second year or something like that, second, third year of Jimmy Butler.
2015. Butler got drafted in 2011, I'm pretty sure.
I also think Kemba Walker's more mature than Jimmy Butler when it comes to leadership. So I'd probably still pick Kemba. But I think Celtics take it in 6.
Okay, Plants?
I got it with everything that Tripp was saying there. My mind is telling me it should be probably Celtics in 6, but I don't know. There's something about the way Miami plays and the way they looked, especially in Game 1 when they were able to come back there and play in overtime and Bam's big block. I'm gonna side with Henry.
By Bam.
I'm gonna side with Henry here. I'm going Heat in 7.
All right. Well, there we have it. Tripp, you are the lone wolf. I know you love that saying.
Can we speak about another NBA topic real quick?
No, hold on real quick. Do you guys remember like the grit and grind Grizzlies from like 2014, 15, 16? Like it was really like defense oriented, grind the game out, low score. I see the Heat like that team a lot. Really good defenders all around. They play smart basketball. Granted, the Grizzlies never got anywhere but the conference finals. I really see a lot of that in the Heat. Like Jimmy Butler's obviously a great defender. Bam Adebayo, great defender. Dragic, he's a good defender as well. I see a lot of that, and they're big guys, or like the big names they have on their team. I see a lot of that team in there. Tripp, what was your other topic? I feel like I have an idea of what it's going to
be. Take a guess. You'll never guess what I'm about
Bradley
to say.
Beal not being on an All-NBA team.
Oh, no. It is. Is James Harden overrated?
Yes.
Yes.
I think he's extremely overrated and he gets way too much credit. He's garbage.
You take away the foul calls. You take away his foul calls where he jerks his head back, he throws the ball in the air, his hands are doing this. He's not going to average 30 points a game like he has been. He's going to go down. What does he shoot? Isn't it like 14 free throw attempts a game? Absolutely.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But can we talk about the Rockets, like, GM as well? Like, what were they trying to make with that team they had? They need to contest with the other Western Conference teams, and having your best guy or center being PJ Tucker will not get you anywhere.
Not only that, I think Capella was a top 10 center in the league.
Yeah, he was good.
Really good defender.
He still is on the Hawks.
At the rim. Yeah, I don't understand what they were doing with that. I don't know what their ideas were, but I definitely think they screwed up by trading away Capella.
But at the same time, with Capella, they got Covington for Capella pretty much.
Covington's a great defender, really good 3-and-D guy.
Yeah. So, they needed that defense on the wing to guard LeBron, even though LeBron had a pretty good series. I mean, you got to make some better moves than that.
I agree. They got to pick up the big time, or this offseason. I really think the Rockets are out of their window to win.
I think they're they're done.
I agree.
I think you trade your players while you still got them there.
Yeah.
In their prime, and you rebuild and you recoup for after LeBron's gone and the Warriors are died down, and maybe you can take over as that next big team. But it's.
But the only team dumb enough to pick up like Russell Wilson is the New York Knicks. So
Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson, he's playing football. He's playing basketball now.
Only team
sport
dumb enough to
athlete.
pick him up.
Hey, I'll take Westbrook. I'll take Harden. I'll take the whole Houston team just to have a little glimmer of hope.
Me too.
Yeah, the next 20 years, first round picks for all of them.
And did you see the haul that the Thunder got for Paul George, and look where that ended up for the Clippers?
Oh my God!
Give the Clippers 3 years. Oh,
home court advantage is a real thing, and I think this playoffs is showing it. There's not a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the East. Clippers, I think if it's in the Staples Center, that Game 7, which it would have been, right, in LA, I think Clippers win that game. Home court advantage is a real thing. I swear.
That game was an utter embarrassment for the Clippers.
Horrible, absolutely horrible.
Especially like in NBA, and like look at the NHL. NHL home court advantage is extreme. Like look at the Hurricanes. I know Hurricanes fans all in here, but last year if we did not have the fans we had, we wouldn't have won first round second round at that.
I agree.
Well,
but it's real momentum
in
pusher.
that first round series against the Caps last year, every game won was an away game. I'm pretty sure if you look
opposite.
Other way around. It was
every
home game except for Game 7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Yeah, completely off on that one.
No, but yeah, I mean that just shows how much having your fans. I mean, in the NFL it's big because of noise and playing call and all that, and hockey and NBA it's maybe not as important, but I think it's just the energy and the momentum that you get from your fans. It's even from the away fans. I mean, I know home court is big, but I mean just having the energy there, it's such a different dynamic, and that's what heading into the bubble in both the NHL and NBA, I think you expected, or at least I expected, there to be certain players that just were able to break out of their shell a little bit more just because they didn't have the fans there over their shoulder.
Right.
And, sure, they're there on Twitter, but they're not there in your face, and they're not there being intimidating, thousands of people watching you.
Right.
Yeah, Luke Dort, TJ Warren, names like that. But going over to the West, we have the Nuggets, Game 7 Kings, the absolute kings of Game 7, going against the almighty LeBron James, Anthony Davis, absolute power squad on the Lakers. Who Tripp said, I'm not sure if you guys heard what Tripp said last week. He said that the Clippers don't have depth. Or he said the Lakers have better depth than the Clippers, or something along those terms.
Clippers lost, so something's up.
So how do you guys?
Are you really going to try to back up the Clippers right now?
No, I'm not trying to back them up. I'm just trying to back up or trying to figure out why you said what
Lakers obviously have something going for them.
Yeah, they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
If the Clippers had so much depth, then why don't they take out their Kawhi and Paul George when they scored 0 points in the fourth quarter? Since they had so much depth.
You can't take away star players that are good at defending either.
Then why don't they put in their depth to score for them?
Montrezl Harrell was in the fourth quarter. Patrick Beverley was in the fourth quarter. Lou Williams can't play defense.
They did great. Montrezl Harrell was the only one that had a good game.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going Lakers in this series. Lakers. If it goes to Game 7, I'm not sure. If Nuggets go down 3-1, I just don't think it's going to happen again. Everybody's going to hype it up. They might win Game 5, put the series 3-2. I think Lakers in 6 or less.
I agree with that. I think you have LeBron James caliber. You got Anthony Davis. You got small guys like Kyle Kuzma. Guys that are just – I mean, I understand you got Jamal Murray and you got Jamal Murray. He plays well. He's good. And you got
his girlfriend's in the bubble too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, baby.
His girlfriend's in the bubble.
Happy after
he's been in the bubble.
I understand that, but you got guys like LeBron James. And I think Lakers and 6 or less as well, Richie. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback on you guys. I agree. The only thing holding them back, I mean, I know Kuzma yesterday had his quote where he's like, "Oh, we're not preparing for any one team," but I mean,
Yeah, you are.
looking at the Clippers, I mean, it's been Lakers Clippers since day one of the season. Everyone's been preparing for that, so I think maybe the Nuggets can steal a game or two, but I gotta agree with you guys. It's Lakers in 5. Honestly, they steamroll these guys and no looking back.
I see Lakers in 5 as well. The Nuggets don't have anyone to guard LeBron or Anthony Davis. If the Nuggets put Jokic on Anthony Davis, it will be a
Horrible
field
defender.
day. Yeah, it'll be a field day for Anthony Davis. The only defender they really have, which isn't even like a known defender, is Paul Millsap, which he's a power forward. He's not that fast. He's not that tall either. So you
Yeah,
have
Bull,
him.
Bull, 30, 10 and 10 every game.
You have what's that? Michael Porter Jr.
He's
that
yeah,
I wanted on the Knicks.
he's young.
Oh,
Yeah, and if you think his little slim self's going to guard LeBron, he's got another thing coming for him. So I see Lakers in 5 as well. I think not Clippers. Nuggets probably take game 1 just because the Lakers are doing the backward sweep on them, or gentleman's sweep, whatever it's called. So Lakers in 5.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I think the Nuggets can pull one off is if it's an absolutely offensive shootout on both sides, and they're just able to. Jamal Murray gets hot like he did in Game 7,
Game 7,
and he can carry a team. Yeah, I think that's the only way the Nuggets can win a game.
Yeah. We'll go into NBA Finals predictions a few episodes on as we get closer, as we see how these series are going, maybe when a team wins. But from there, Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George had a great series. He had a really good series, but he had a horrible, horrible Game 7. Kawhi Leonard, I expected a little bit more out of him in this series. But obviously, Game 7, your superstars gotta show up. And if you're Kawhi like you did last year, I was expecting something like he had against the Warriors, something like he had against the 76ers when they went to Game 7. He made that buzzer beater. But obviously, your superstars have got to step up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Clippers, if you're the general manager, they gave up all those picks, those players for Paul George.
You're getting fired.
Paul George, 10 points all game, Game 7. And you gotta come up clutch if you're one of the big players, like you're saying. You're 4 from 16 on the field, 2 for 11 threes, and your strong suit's 3-point shooting. And I understand, like, maybe you have your off games, but in Game 7 when you got to come up big,
You can't have an off game in
your
a
star
Game 7.
player, right?
Yeah.
And he's been off all playoffs. Like he's been off and on. He had a good series this series, but the series before he wasn't shooting well. But like you said, Game 7, star player, him and Kawhi both, they got to come up big, and they gotta win for their team. You know, that's their depth, as you guys were arguing about earlier. So I agree. I think that they need to come out. They needed to come out hotter, and they needed to do well for their team, and they just didn't do that, and they paid for it. They paid the consequence.
Yep. Thunder GM, absolute steal. Shea really came into his own. Chris Paul made All-NBA second team, I believe, at age 33, 34?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris
That's
Paul.
awesome.
Chris Paul is really good this season.
Absolute steal for
Absolutely.
the Thunder in that one. So,
yeah, I think obviously with that, what you guys are saying, how you have your show up. I think if you absolutely tarnish everything of what Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have done in their career based on one game, I think that's ridiculous and that's stupid and that's just people overreacting. But at the same time, like, sure, you can have your bad game, but if you have like a two-headed dragon like you do with Kawhi and Paul George, you can't both have a bad game.
Right.
Like, you guys, someone's got to step up and lead. And that's what you look at. I mean, you have to always talk about LeBron, but you look at how LeBron has built his teams. Like, it was Kawhi's time to be the number one guy. Obviously, his first ring in San Antonio, he wasn't really the number one guy. Absolutely. He won the Finals MVP, but he wasn't like, he wasn't Kawhi yet.
he got a Finals MVP for shutting down LeBron.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't he wasn't carrying his whole team though. I mean, obviously he had the great defense, but and then it's his time to shine, and that's defense and offense. And LeBron LeBron has built his teams. He's had guys that he's had, good chemistry with. He's been linked with Anthony Davis for years now. You look back with, Kyrie and Kevin Love, and then you look at Wade and Bosh. He's always had those guys. He's had off-court chemistry as well as on-court. And then, Kawhi and Paul George, it just kind of seemed like Kawhi signed and then they got Paul George because they're like, oh, we got to contend with LeBron. And I don't think it's.
And that being said, Kawhi Leonard said he would not play for the Clippers if they didn't have another star, such as someone like Paul George. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and it's just you look at Kyrie when he left the Cavs and he went to Boston, and they already had a team somewhat assembled there for him, and then he obviously he left there and he went to the Nets and he signed there with Kevin Durant, who had back in Team USA they had great chemistry together both on and off the court, and I think that's one of the big aspects of what it takes to build a super team in this era.
And this bubble made it hard too because a lot of guys went 3-4 months without seeing their teammates.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So
I think chemistry was a huge factor.
Still next year, it's going to be. I think the favorites are going to be Clippers, Lakers, unless something insane happens in free agency. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Plants. I feel that.
Not the Warriors.
I think the Warriors take it next year.
I think I wouldn't. I won't be surprised the Warriors take it.
Mm-hmm. The Warriors are back next year, 1,000%.
They'd pick Wiseman. If Wiseman grows into a solid defender at the rim, obviously I assume they're going to pick Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
They need a big, but
unless they trade
I can see the Warriors.
Too, don't they?
Who?
Warriors have cap space too.
They do have cap space.
They got cap space. They got the number 2 pick.
I think they take the number 2. They draft Wiseman, and then they go out and get their veterans like they've done in years past, and how LeBron does it as well. You go out and you get your veterans that'll be the right pieces to come off the bench. I mean, that's also one of their downfalls. Their bench was not that good this year, and
they were hurt.
Obviously injuries and everything. But being one of the worst teams, they didn't have any depth. And if you can go out there and get your veteran depth pieces that will contribute when you need them to. And obviously, got everyone coming back from injury. It will be. I think the Warriors should be the favorites next year.
Okay. Now, Trip, going to Kawhi and Paul George. If you're the Clippers GM, what are you thinking right now?
Where do I go next? Because you're about to get fired within the next week or so. You're gonna get fired before the next draft.
So after one series or one season, you're gonna jump ship and fire him.
Yeah, look at Magic Johnson. I mean, he signed LeBron, and he's going after 1 year. So
Magic Johnson was there for years before that.
Yeah, he built a really good team, and look at him now.
Really good team. What was the really good team that Magic built?
He was good enough to be able to trade those players away and make what they have now. If he did such a bad job, the team would not be where it is right now.
Sacre.
Yeah, but all that success is not built off himself. I mean, he's got the previous years of Magic Johnson, like all those, like Brandon Ingram, all those guys that he could trade away to get these new guys. Yeah,
absolutely.
It just wasn't a good fit in LA.
There's a reason they had the number 2 pick in all those drafts, though. I just think I don't think the Clippers are going to fire their general manager right now. I think next season if something happens, I think that's when maybe the guy making trades gets fired, the guy picking up people gets fired. But I don't think that right now they're going to jump ship and just completely blow up everything in the Clippers organization.
They're not going to blow up. They're just going to change GMs.
I don't think they will. You said before the draft?
If they were going to, it would be before the draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
no, I don't. I think you play it cautious, and obviously it'll be Lakers, Clippers, Warriors next year. Obviously the West is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Mavericks.
I mean, obviously, all these teams are showing it, but the West is stacked. It's anyone's game. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Lakers, Warriors, and then it's going to be all these teams fighting for the 3rd spot. And I mean, we can see. But if they have a horrible year, then yeah, maybe it is time to look for a change. But I don't think it's time for overreactions just yet.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's one game.
All right, well, that's all for our NBA. We'll go back, obviously, as I said, we'll go into the finals predictions, matchups, whatever we need to talk about there, and probably next episode after that. Just got to play it by ear, really. So now going on, this is really what these guys are here for. Some NHL talk. We did have an old previous podcast named Caniac Fever, which I was very lucky to take over, at least the Instagram page. These guys know their stuff about hockey. I don't know that much. I can't really say but so much, but I know that right now we have, as we speak, Lightning and Islanders should be starting up soon, right?
Yep, they'll be
Lightning
starting
were
to
up
puck drop in a minute. Yeah.
Or so,
3-2 in that series, I believe.
Yep.
And then
Game
the
6.
Dallas Stars just beat out the Golden Knights in five games.
5 games,
Yep.
absolutely. That crazy series. I mean, everyone's picking Vegas, and Vegas had the team. They got Fleury and Leonard, who Fleury's goalie of old, and then Leonard is probably, in my opinion, he's a top 3 goalie in this league.
I agree.
They've got great defense. Shea Theodore, their offense is unbelievable. Mark Stone, you got William Karlsson. You have so many Max Pacioretty. You have so many pieces up front, and it looked like it was we should be heading. I mean, even in the round prior, it looked like it should be Vegas and Tampa in the Stanley Cup final, and Dallas just comes out here. They shock the Avalanche.
They do,
and then they come here and they shock Vegas in 5 games, and they're just led by a great combination. Their team is built very well. They have a great combination of veteran presence and young guys. And I mean, you look at their older guys. You got Sagan, Radulov, Ben. They've all stepped up big time when needed. And then the defense on Dallas. It's great defense. You got veterans like Sekera, and then you got your new guys, Klingberg, and you got Heiskanen. And then obviously Ben Bishop was their guy for the whole regular season. He gets hurt early in the bubble, and Anton Khudobin, former Hurricane, shout out. He comes in, and man, he has been stellar. He is the Conn Smythe winner if Dallas can win the cup.
I couldn't agree more there, Plants. Dallas is a grit and grind kind of team. They love to go down in the corners. They battle hard, and they got a system that you don't think that can come out victorious. But when they show that they want it, and they show the world, and like you said, like when we were going back to home ice advantage or like home court advantage, these guys don't have that. And I think Vegas really like thrived off that as a brand new team, and their fan bases, they go absolutely nuts. And don't get me wrong, Vegas is very good, but they're new, and they've made they made the Stanley Cup Finals their first year. They made Eastern
they should have made it.
Finals last year.
Yeah, they should have made it. It was the horrible call, but yeah,
right.
They should have made it.
Eastern Conference Finals last year, or Western Conference Finals last year, Western Conference Finals this year. They've done well. It's heartbreak for them, but when you got a team like Dallas who just shows that they really want it this year, and it's a weird year for everyone, and they shock the country, beating the Avalanche, the very good Avalanche, who I thought was going to win the cup this year. It's nice to see. You got guys like you said, Khudobin, who's absolutely balling out. He's absolutely loving it there in Dallas, and as a backup goalie, he's been most of his career. It's nice that he gets to shine and really show what he's made of. And like you said, young guys on D, like their D core is probably top 3 in the league in my opinion. And
I would agree.
It shows that that's why they come out victorious.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm a huge hockey guy.
Name 3 players on the Stars.
Favorite player? Tyler.
Name 3 players on the Dallas Stars.
Isn't there a guy named Sanguin or something?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes they show his highlights at the Cowboys football games, and that's all I know. Because I mean, Dallas, I got to go. I think the Lightning are going to win. I just don't see why they lose. So, Trip, who you got?
Well, the Lightning have to win this series, but I think Lightning win the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
really,
obviously they're going to win tonight, 3-1 probably.
Offensive power of the Lightning's going to overpower the Stars. But going back to the Stars, I just think they have a very good leadership in Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan because their coach is an interim coach because they fired their coach mid-year. So like that's another big point on like how on earth are they here, but they're definitely being led by their veterans. They're young.
If Dallas can win the cup this year, a little fun fact: Dallas can win the cup this year. This would be back-to-back years that an interim coach won the Stanley Cup. Craig Berube last year, St. Louis.
That story's crazy.
Absolutely.
Last in the NHL All-Star break, Stanley Cup winners. It's unbelievable.
But no, moving over to the Lightning Islander series. I mean, the Lightning obviously first game it was 8-2. They absolutely destroyed them. The second game, the Islanders looked like they should have won that game. I think that was their game to lose. And a breakdown with 8 seconds left. Kucherov finds the back door. Polak left them wide open. And, the Lightning go up 2-0. And everyone's like, oh, here we go. Lightning finally coming back again.
Yep.
Lightning have been a favorite to win the cup for the last, 7 years? 8 years? It's unbelievable they haven't won the cup in this time frame. And obviously it'd suck for their fan base if the Corona Cup is the one that they finally win. But no, the Lightning should win. They have 2 games to get that dub. I'm hoping it's tonight. I do think it will be. Credit to the Islanders though. They have a wonderful coach in Barry Trotz. He's very defensively sound. That team sticks to their system. Sure, they may be limited on offense, and sometimes they have very boring games. But if you get a win, that's all that matters. Hey, easy there, Trip. All right, Big Ben's back. No, yeah. What were you saying, Henry?
Dude, I totally agree with you, 100%. I don't think they need 2 games. I think this is their game. I think they sat Kucherov. Kucherov didn't play, 3 shifts? Literally 3 shifts, and then probably the whole third period. And they still find a way. They don't have Braden Point. They're sitting Braden Point because, injury, and they probably want him healthy for the finals. So they got 2 guys who are barely playing that they're resting, and they're still going to overtime games with the Islanders. So I think that last game was a rest game, and I think that they just come out hard tonight, and they end the series in 6.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree too.
A Lightning Dallas Stanley Cup final now. That is that'll be interesting. I mean, it's like I was saying, it's been the Lightning's year. Lightning fans have been saying it's our year for the past 10 years. Yeah. So it's finally time for them to show up. Unfortunately, Stamkos, I don't think he'll be there. He's been injured. He hasn't played in the bubble yet. But
I'm not real sure if Stamkos is going to play.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, at least they ruled him out of the Eastern Conference Final. That's the last injury update I heard from him. But I think Dallas will win a few games, and they will be very competitive with this Tampa team. But just their depth and the way Tampa plays, it's hard to pick against them. I say Lightning and probably 6.
I agree.
There we go.
Dallas.
I think Dallas comes out, and I think that they play well and they make it competitive, and games are close, and they sneak a couple wins in the series. But it's just the depth of the Lightning. Victor Hedman, McDonough, Kucherov, Point. Even guys on the fourth line like Yanni Gord, that's a workhorse.
Yanni Gord's an absolute beauty.
Yeah, and him, Blake Coleman,
absolute beauty.
They got Palat, who knows how to score 4 games out of the 7 in the series. Like, I think it's Tampa's year, even though it's Corona Cup. I think it's their year, and it sucks that it's a weird time, but I think they got it this year.
All right, Trip, who you got in the finals? Oh, who do you have winning this series?
I already told you.
One more time.
I was first. The Lightning.
Lightning. I've got Lightning. Both of you guys have Lightning. And Stars Lightning. Real quick, I've got Lightning. Trip, you have
Lightning.
Henry, Plants. Same thing, right?
Lightning and 6.
Lightning. All right, so we got Lightning. So that's really all for our show right now. We're last little thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna go over some of our favorite movie. Shout out to Pub Sports Talk. I kind of got this idea from them. Listen to theirs. Big thing, Dave did not mention Calvin Cambridge from Like Mike, the kid who got the Jordans out of a tree or something like that, and he got struck by lightning, made him play like Michael Jordan. But here's like a few guys. Ricky Bobby, absolute legend.
Legend of the game,
The
honestly.
best there is, the best there was, and the best there
agree.
ever will be.
I agree.
100%. Ricky
Oh,
Bobby's
man.
up there.
Bounces back from a broken arm. I mean,
Broken arm, he was on fire. Literally on fire, running around paralyzed, winning wheelchair basketball. Oh, man.
He had to come out there, get out of his car, and run all the way to the finish line. I mean, that's dedication to the game. And, we have to – snaps for dedication. I mean, what a guy.
Talking about dedication, we're talking Doug Glatt. Doug Glatt.
Oh.
I mean, he's fighting the best fighter in sports, I'd say. Rick, what's his name? Ross the Boss?
Ross the Boss.
Ross the Boss. Doug Glatt, baby. Let's go. That's probably one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. Coming out with a huge upset at the end of the show.
You go from being a bouncer to playing professional hockey. I mean, dedication. Put it down.
Speaking of hockey, Happy Gilmore. Wannabe hockey player.
Woo!
Absolute beauty.
I mean,
364 more days till fucking tryouts, baby.
he rips an 18 like no other.
And then not only that, Bobby Boucher looks just like Happy Gilmore.
That is true.
Bobby Boucher, absolutely.
What about Airbud?
Airbud. Imagine being the coach for the team that lost to Airbud. Like, you guys are getting beat by a dog. Like,
hey, to be fair, he's got 4 legs. I don't know if that's fair.
Showing your phone.
But he's
what
also
about this
3
new
inches tall.
iOS update? Thing's sweet. I don't know
I
if you
haven't
guys
done
I
it
haven't
yet.
seen it.
but oh, buddy, I mean, I don't know if you can see this. It won't focus, but
Yeah, but
this thing's
that's all the
unbelievable.
time we have for today, guys. Not as long of an episode as last week, probably around an hour, a little more than an hour. But I do want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming on. Obviously, we want to have you guys back on, especially as hockey. Maybe right at the end of that series. If it somehow goes to a Game 7, have you guys on. We'll talk about that.
Yes, sir.
But I do appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you guys. Do you guys have any shout-outs, anything you want to say before we go?
Quick shout-out to my boy Johnny B. from Arizona. He's up here playing hockey with me. He's good friends with Oklahoma quarterback Spencer Rattler. So shout-out Rattler. Shout-out Johnny B.
I got an update. I think the Islanders just scored. My roommate's going crazy out there.
Oh, boy.
He's an Islanders fan, so if that's saying something, 1-0 Islanders, it sounds like out there. I also want to shout out, I don't know if he's watching, but Robbie Ciciari, love you, bro. Caniac Fever podcast native. Shout out to you, brother. Wish you were here. It's always a pleasure with you. But hey, things happen. I get the call up, you don't. Things work out like that. Anyway,
breaking news in the podcast.
I don't know what he said.
Trip, we have.
What?
Anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, if anyone wants to play golf, let me know.
All right, that's all the time we have.
18.
We'll see you guys.
Not all
Follow
the
us
time.
on
Hold
Instagram.
on, we're running out of names for hurricanes out here. I mean, I'm getting hit by one. I'm looking out my window. We're getting hit with one right now. And
all right, that's all the time we have. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for
thanks for
watching.
having
Thanks
me.
for listening.
Appreciate it. Thank you.